So sometimes people come into the office and they ask about how they can repair a relationship or what they can do in order to sort of make things better. The problem is that that's really ambiguous in regards to understanding what the goal is that they're actually trying for. Because usually people have an idea of what they want. And the question is actually what's keeping them from getting there.
Story time!
So a few years ago, I was playing a game. It was a popular sort of one of those miniatures board games at the time called Mage Knight. And it was a fun thing, and there were tournaments that you could go to. A friend of mine wound up playing against each other at one point. Really wanted that trophy piece. So did he. We got about part way through the game when I looked at the board and realized there was no possible way I could win. I was done. I was pissed off about it too. Kind of just hands in the air and, all right, it's yours. Fine. My friend, and because I care about my friends and try to keep things relatively anonymous, we'll call him Will for right now. Will looked across the board at me and basically said, "Well, you really should just check that again." And I looked at it again and it's just completely blank. And I really remember really clearly because it didn't kill him to do it, which is part of my lesson here. But he sort of just smiled and was like, "Look again. Look." And I did. I spent time staring at it, and then I suddenly realized the obvious move. And a few minutes later, I had won the game. It had gotten completely turned around. I did take that piece home, but now it's roughly 20 years later, and I didn't really care about Chroma, the specialty Mage Knight piece. I care about the fact that Will and I are still friends, and I've used this example in other cases, but that Will showed me what it was like to be a better sportsman, and at the same time, what I needed to be able to do to win, because I had quit. I was done. I was not willing to go any further with that. And it was embarrassing and humbling to see so clearly, suddenly through his eyes, what needed to happen that I couldn't see at all. Giving up because something is really hard is really, really easy, especially if you don't see a way around the huge wall that just claps down on top of you. And the famous saying is, if at first you don't succeed, try again. But W.C. Fields also added on, and if it doesn't work then, stop. No sense being a damned fool about it. Sometimes you need to stop doing what you're doing and just take a break. A lot of gamers, particularly, sort of fall into a zone, and it's easy to get stuck. In general, for people, if you are in a headspace where you don't feel like you can quit, but at the same time you don't see a way around it, take a break. A moment away. Think and do something else. If you can, put time in between like a nap. You do have this process still running in the back of your mind where you are probably still working on a solution, but you don't need to have something on the front of your mind just to have a solution. A lot of this, of course, depends on the kind of battle that you are having. So in regards to your relationship with somebody else, the nature of that relationship may be dependent on how you are having that fight with somebody. If you really believe strongly in your point, it's okay to be strong about it. But look at what the end goal is. If there's not going to be some sort of realistic change in both of your behaviors, it's probably not worth fighting about. If, on the other hand, it's a goal that's fundamental to your needs, then it is something that you need to be able to hash out, and you need to be able to do so with clarity. Look at what your goals are, and think about the effects that they will have on you by continuing this argument, as well as others and others around you. Sometimes it's okay to stop, but a lot of times it's a good idea to just figure out what your real goal is and look at who your friends are.